I believe with all of my heart, and I put this in the book as well, that my mum died when she did for a reason. If my mum was still alive when my ex-husband walked out on us, I would have relied on my mum. I'd have looked to her to soothe me, to make everything better. But because she wasn't there, I get goosebumps talking about it, but because she wasn't there, I had to do it myself. I had to rescue myself. I had to now learn all of this, go out and help heal others. So I feel with every single cell of my body and in my heart that my mum died before I split up from my ex-husband so that I could go out and become an even better version of myself to go out and help and heal others. And I feel that literally within my heart.
Welcome to the Angels and Awakening podcast, where we connect you with your angels, loved ones, and soul self. My journey began when I started hearing my late father before I knew he'd passed. Through my readings, membership, and Angel Reiki School, I help you awaken, heal, and master your unique spiritual gifts. If you feel called to work with me, it's your angels guiding you to discover your soul's highest purpose. Details at theangelmedium.com. Thank you, Earth Angels, for the 5-star reviews. You're entered into a drawing to win a free session. Now, let's see what messages your angels have for you today. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. Today, we have an angel story by author Caroline Strawson. She's the author of How to Heal After Narcissistic Abuse. And I just want to share with the audience that over the past 2 years, I've heard so many members in our community, so many podcast listeners, family members, friends who are really going through and healing from this narcissistic abuse. And I know that there are so many empaths. If you're listening to this podcast, you are most definitely an empath yourself. And that empath energy can kind of be the yin to the yang of a narcissist's energy. So I really felt that the intention of today's episode was to have Caroline on to share her story and how the divine worked with her, led her, guided her to step back into her power, to see her own worth, to be able to receive love. Because, Caroline, I just feel it in all of your work. I mean, you were meant to be doing this, and without you stepping into your power, you couldn't touch the souls of so many other people and help lead them to step into their power. So first and foremost, thank you for being you. Thank you for being open and sharing your journey, for being a teacher, and thank you for being here on the show.
Thank you. I'm really looking forward to talking about this because it's a subject matter obviously very close to my heart. And it's so very needed for us to be talking about it in an educated, but also, like you say, in the way that there is hope beyond narcissistic abuse. It doesn't have to be it forever.
I think that one of the hardest things that I've seen, the hardest energies, because there's all these different energies we are constantly working with in our lives. And there are just some energies that are harder to work through than others. When it comes to narcissists, one of the energies is they make you think you're crazy. They make you think it's you. They really rob you of your soul's energy in a controlling way. Controlling people rob you of just allowing you to be your soul self in this
Yes.
lifetime. But narcissists take it a step further where they are controlling you in a way, but making you think and feel that they're not. And so to me, the energy when I work with folks that are dealing with narcissistic abuse is that they don't have their compass anymore. They don't have the
Correct.
grounding underneath
They
them.
don't.
They don't know up from down.
No, you lose. I mean, this is a term we call gaslighting when you start to feel like you're the crazy one. So it almost feels like in your gut initially, when they're saying things and doing things, you kind of start to feel a sense of danger and threat. This isn't right. What they're saying isn't true. And then the more you question them and maybe push back on some of those boundaries, they will start to gaslight you, and you end up feeling like you are the crazy one. And as a survival response with that, we end up losing ourselves, and we end up operating from a place of safety, really, of trying to stay safe in the relationship as opposed to coming from our own true, authentic essence of who we are. Because when we do that, we get shouted down, or we get some kind of manipulation or control or gaslighting. So we learn it's not safe to simply be who we are.
Maybe let's start with your angel story of what you went through, what you survived, and the ways in which God, Universe, Source, your angels, your loved ones on the other side helped guide you back to yourself.
I suppose I used to think I had a really wonderful childhood, and it doesn't mean that I didn't, but I had a really unemotional father who never praised me, who never said, well done, Caroline. So I became this perpetual high achieving, people pleasing perfectionist as a child, always seeking the approval of my father. My mum, on the other hand, was a codependent and an empath. So I had real two opposite ends of the spectrum. But what I became accustomed to was in male relationships was breadcrumbs of love, not feeling good enough. So that was the pattern of my relationships that had come from my childhood. So I didn't necessarily have abuse or neglect in my childhood, but it was just an unemotional parent not showing a sense of love. I got married in my mid-20s, and even on my wedding day, there was a sense that something wasn't right, but everybody was there, and like how I live my life, it was about making everybody else happy, and I couldn't say anything. Then when we went on to have our son together, kind of that's when things started to change. And I think with narcissists, they need all of your attention on them, and they see if they don't get that, even if it's your own child that you have together, it's a slur on them. So that's for me where I really started to think the behavior really started to change. Then about 12 years ago, in the space of about 2 years, my mum died really, really suddenly. Now, she was my rock. Anyone who knows what a codependent is like, I was one too. My mother's sense of worth came from being a mother. So I had a very close relationship with her, not only because I loved her, but also because I wanted to make her happy, because her sense of worth came from being a mum to me and my two older sisters. So when she died, it was like the rug had been pulled out from underneath me. And then in the space of 18 months, my husband walked out on me and my two children. Now, I'd already recognized that the relationship wasn't good. It was unhealthy. There was something toxic because there was multiple adulteries, but I didn't realize, I just thought he was a cheating husband. I didn't realize actually that there was financial abuse, psychological abuse, emotional abuse, coercive control. I didn't realize that that was actually in the relationship because no one ever taught me any of that stuff. I just thought he's a cheating husband. Then when he left, I was broken. I was literally a shell of myself. I found out we were in nearly $100,000 worth of debt. I lost my family home. And genuinely, if it wasn't for my two children, I probably wouldn't be on this podcast right now. I was suffering with depression, anxiety, self-harm, panic attacks at a really, really low ebb. But there was something inside of me, even though I was at a low ebb, and even though I felt like I didn't want to be there, I still felt the presence of my mum. I still felt that there was something inside of me, that this was part of my journey, that this was meant to be happening. If you'd have said that to me at the time, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But there was just some sense of something. And I'd got two children then. I have a son and a daughter. And probably for about 3 years, I was really stuck in the trauma bond, stuck in a place of feeling sorry for myself, blaming everybody else, feeling angry one minute, not wanting to get out of bed the next and crying, but still trying to be the mum to my two children. I remember I hit 40 years old in 2013, and it was the year I lost my family home. We were made homeless that year. And I remember on my 40th birthday thinking, I've got two options here. One, I can either think it's downhill from now on. That is life. Life is over. I'm a mum. Just be a mum to my children. That's it. Or I can start to try and heal, navigate through all of this and see what's beyond all of that. Now, I didn't have a clue how, and I didn't know what to do, but there was something inside of me that took me down that direction. And as I went down that direction, I started a home business at the time, which started to do really well. And I realized that there was a real lack of understanding about narcissistic abuse and trauma from a body perspective, the nervous system. So I used to be a podiatrist, that's what I used to be. And I completely retrained in things like somatic experiencing, internal family systems, EMDR, brain spotting, breath work, positive psychology, did a postgrad, all of these things, and totally retrained and started my business. And I initially started my business helping people one-to-one. Very, very quickly, completely filled my books. I was kind of burning out, really. So I started to do some group work. And as I started to do the group work, I realized as people were starting to heal, they then also wanted to heal others. So I created a coaching certification, which is trauma informed, and you can specialize in narcissism. And then as they were then starting to go through that, I realized they also wanted to take that into schools and workplaces and public sector like the police, because again, there's this real lack of understanding. So I kind of created a business there. So I actually run 3 businesses now. And I really feel like what I went through, I was totally meant to go through. And we call it in positive psychology, we call it post-traumatic growth as well. Growth beyond leading an even better life because of the trauma you experience. But I've always felt my mum's presence through all of this, always. And, you know, my book, How to Heal After Narcissistic Abuse, has literally just come out this week with Hay House. And it's dedicated to my mum, actually, Linda Patricia Hovland. It's dedicated to her because I really believe, well, you will get all of this and your listeners will. I believe with all of my heart, and I put this in the book as well, that my mum died when she did for a reason. If my mum was still alive when my ex-husband walked out on us, I would have relied on my mum. I'd have looked to her to soothe me, to make everything better. But because she wasn't there, I get goosebumps talking about it, but because she wasn't there, I had to do it myself. I had to rescue myself. I had to now learn all of this, go out and help heal others. So I feel with every single cell of my body and in my heart that my mum died before I split up from my ex-husband so that I could go out and become an even better version of myself to go out and help and heal others. And I feel that literally within my heart.
Here's our free and paid upcoming events. Angel Reiki School is in person November 8th through 10th in Chicagoland, or begin online November 1st. My new course, Release Fear and Embrace Miracles, starts November 1st online. Become a member to get this course free, or it's $133 for non-members. We have a free workshop October 23rd at 8 p.m. Central on how fear is really holding you back. And join our free prayer meeting right before that at 7 p.m. Central. Sign up for all of this and more at theangelmedium.com/events. Absolutely, 100%. It's interesting because I don't think that we, our human self, know exactly when we're going to go, but I do think that the soul self knows, the highest self knows, and I believe that they prepare in different ways that you can kind of see that they're preparing, but that they, and it's hard because the angels say when you say this, you also have to preface it another way for people who think in a different way. There are times where you can do more for your family, for your kids, for people from the other side than you can do here. But the angels say to preface it that that doesn't mean to go out and take drastic action. If you're here, naturally, you're meant to be here in this earth realm. It's only when God, universe, source takes us naturally that were meant to do that work from the other side. But I totally get what you're saying. And I can feel that in your mom, not just for you, but also for your kids, because she keeps showing me that there's this lineage of energy that runs from her and even past female ancestors through her, through you, through your son and your daughter, and the work that they're going to do one day. And she said it was so imperative, not just for you, Caroline, but also for the kids to see you do this work, to step into your power in this way, to not give up and to go in that direction. And the angels had me write down this, I thought it was very interesting when you said basically it was a choice. Like you got to make a choice in your life. Am I going to give up or am I going to keep going? Can you talk about that and what that's like maybe for the energy of empaths? Because I know we're all human beings walking around in the same meat suit and we all look the same, but we are so freaking energetically different on the inside. We're all wired completely different. And I feel that it's hard sometimes for empaths to make this choice.
It is hard because I think we're always looking externally as empaths about the effects of our actions on others, because we know if our actions affect others, by proxy, it will end up affecting us and it could completely drain us of our energy. So, like you say, as an empath, in those situations of choices, but coming out of an abusive relationship, my energy was completely zapped. I was spent. I had zero energy. I was stuck in this freeze response, but equally still trying to do the best that I could. And I think this is the key thing. There was an element from a physiological perspective. I was stuck in a nervous system response, but still wanting to function and to please others, to make sure everybody else was happy, and just absolutely exhausted in the process, to the detriment of myself, wanting to make sure and not realizing, even from my children's perspective, that because we talk about when we have children, we need to put our children first. And of course, we need to have our children as a priority. But if we don't prioritize ourselves, especially when we are an empath and we are so susceptible to energies, if I go into my father's care home or a hospital, I have to prep myself to go in and I have to down regulate when I come out because, I can feel the energies of ill people. It literally, I can't watch things like, animals do the funniest thing on TV. I literally get jolts of electricity through my body if I see people fall or hurt themselves and things. So I have to really, really protect my energy with that. So it was a real process in understanding what it's like to be an empath and embrace the gift, which I believe is being an empath, of helping others, but realizing that I also had to really look after myself first and foremost and really protect my boundaries around my energy as well.
It's interesting that you say that because last night I was on with my membership doing a workshop, and then I was talking to some individual members after. And then this morning I had a session, and the angels brought through the same message in both places, which was, if you look at your entire life like a book with all of these different chapters, you're going to have these rare years or period of a stretch of months where you are just surviving your life because you're going through a divorce or you've just gone through a loss or you're going through a hard time. That period of survival, I feel, is really, really hard for empaths, like you're saying, because we just want to do our best. We just want to give our best. We want to be everything to everyone. And we want to do so good for the other side. I think a lot of people just want to make God, Universe, Source proud of us, and our angels and our loved ones on the other side proud of us. And so we try and not just survive, but keep going on our life's journey. And the angels came in to two people in the last 24 hours and just said, it's okay to just survive those months, those years, and to put everything else on the back burner. You're not meant to be more. We're not expecting more of you. You just need time and space to survive and to heal.
so important. I think learning to just be and trusting in that. How I feel now is I just trust in whatever is going to happen is guiding me to something greater, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. It's guiding me. I've just put an offer in on a house that got accepted, for instance, 3 weeks ago. Everything was falling into place beautifully. And then our buyers now can't get a mortgage. But I feel really calm. I'm not like thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get that house. I'm leaning into, if it's meant to be, it will happen. And if it isn't, then there's a reason for that, and something else is out there, or we're meant to stay here, whatever that may be. And I think having gone through everything that I'd experienced and really lent into that, and obviously I didn't to start off with, but eventually, when I trusted and really lent into the pain and really gave that opportunity to just be, to cocoon, to kind of be out there when I needed to be kind to myself, to protect my energy and my boundaries. I totally trust now. And it's an innate feeling inside of me. And even sometimes if I have a part of me that starts to try and come in and say, yeah, but it's almost a sense of peace and calmness of what will happen will happen. If it's meant to be, it will. And I really trust that. And I feel like my mum is with me on that journey too. And just as you said, my grandmother was a really strong woman too. We have a really long line of very strong women, but strong people-pleasing women. So I really feel like I've managed to break that cycle, and having a son and a daughter really broken that cycle of codependency as such too, of seeking external approval and validation from others.
Friends, I just want to thank you for sharing each episode with your friends. Because of you, we've hit nearly 10 million downloads a year. Wow. As a thank you and gift, please enjoy my free 31-day angel success formula at theangelmedium.com so you can start connecting with your angels today. And please share today's episode if you've enjoyed it and tag me at Angel Podcast. Yeah, that's beautiful. There's an energy too in some people, and I agree with everything that you just said. There's an energy within some people who have gone through, and again, people are very different internally, where they've gone through so much in such a short period of time that, to me, I call it a PTSD energy, because they keep having this fear of like, what if, what if, what if? The angels are asking you for your opinion on PTSD energy and how you work with some of those clients that you have yourself to make that break, make that shift, and choose hope, choose their beautiful future.
Yeah, so when I work with clients who have PTSD, let's say they come to me and they've been diagnosed with PTSD. The first thing I say is educate them of what PTSD is, post-traumatic stress disorder. And I immediately say, let's take away the word disorder as such, because we can heal PTSD, and let's put in the word response, post-traumatic stress response. This is your response after trauma that you have experienced, and this is how you're reacting. So immediately it shifts how people feel. It almost feels like, so it's not a life sentence then. It's like, no, it's just your brain and your body and the essence of who you are hasn't time-stamped the events into the past for you. It's still very live and it's still very real for you. But that doesn't mean we can't do that. So immediately it's like we're a hope merchant. We're giving our clients that sense of hope that this, because, there's such an array of symptoms of PTSD, and they can be so debilitating for people. So it's really helping them understand that their energy with where they are is just really their essence and their nervous system trying to protect them from their perception of those past experiences. And it's doing a great job. It's keeping them vigilant. It's keeping their energy just in case as such. But the just in case what? It serves well in the moment of the trauma, and that's great. But we no longer need that energy now. We no longer need to have that state of hypervigilance. We can process and integrate that so that we can shift our energy to coming from a place of presence and groundedness. And rather than feeling like we're in the trauma that we've experienced, we can look back and we can still maybe have a sense of some energy in our body because it's not nice experiences many of us have had, but it's not like it's happening to us right now. And I think when clients can process and integrate that into their body so that they can go back to, I do a lot of internal family systems in the work I do, and we talk about that sense of self, the source, the essence of who we are. You know, when we've got things like PTSD or post-traumatic stress response, it's because it doesn't feel safe to sit in self energy and the essence of who we are. So we have all of these protector parts that will come up, and they could be things like addictions, self-harm, anger, dissociation, all there with a loving intention for us, trying to distract us away from feeling the pain, maybe of not feeling good enough and things like this. So it's really about helping understand and listening to those parts of us, working hard in our system so that they can calm and we can go back to a sense of self energy and source, so we can feel more presence, grounded, and it becomes simply safe to be ourselves without any expectation on that.
Oh, beautiful. Caroline, you're such a beautiful, resource for anyone who is going through narcissistic abuse, trauma, and healing in that way. I'd love for you to share where everybody can find you, your book, your work, but also Spirit's asking me to ask you this last question. You and your mom have built this incredible relationship on the other side where you still feel her, and I know there was that codependence, but my God, is her soul just so expansive? And I mean, her love is just so grand and so expansive. Tell everybody how you communicate with her in day to day, in your week, in your year, and maybe how that relationship has morphed over the years to become even more deep, even more strong.
Yeah, it literally feels like she's within the essence of who I am. You know, wherever I go, even if I'm driving my car, if I'm sat in the bath, it's just an innate presence that I feel inside of me. Sometimes I hear her voice as well. Sometimes if I'm listening to music, it's like I can hear her voice coming through the music. Sometimes if I'm, in different places, it feels like she's talking to me as well. It feels sometimes difficult to think that she's passed away because her physical presence isn't here, but it feels like every other part of her presence absolutely is here.
That's beautiful. Where can everybody find you and your book, How to Heal After Narcissistic Abuse?
So come and find me on Instagram, Facebook. They're probably the best places, or you can always drop me an email at hello@carolinestrawson.com. And my book is available on Amazon. It's available in Barnes and Noble, all the places you would normally expect to find books. You can go ahead, and it's on Audible, paperback, and on Kindle as well.
Amazing. Caroline, thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the world. And to everybody listening, if you have an angel story that you want to share, story of miracles, blessings, opportunities, you connecting with your loved ones on the other side, we'd love to have you on the show. You can email us over at julie@theangelmedium.com.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you too. Thank you so much for sharing your story today. I
I,
so appreciate you.
you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
If you feel called to become a certified angel messenger, energy healer, and medium, join my Angel Reiki school to learn all three at once. I'll also give you my secret sauce for building a successful, sustainable spiritual business. We're in person November 2024 and April 2025, or start the Angel Reiki school online on the first of the month. For personal messages from your spirit team, book a one-on-one reading with me. New slots are released monthly via email. Join my membership to grow spiritually, heal deeply, and connect with your angels for daily guidance and support on your personal journey. Visit theangelmedium.com/contact. Have an angel story? Share it at theangelmedium.com/contact to inspire our community with hope and love. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you back here Monday with a brand new episode.